Most cybersecurity projects in banks are driven by one thing, the urgency. New technology is introduced usually because something has happened. In the best case scenario, new regulations. In the worst case, an attack.
In the case of BNP Paribas Bank, it was the first one. Our internal regulations related to the NIST cybersecurity framework. We had to implement multi-factor authentication for all our critical systems. The deadline was short, and there were over 100 applications to protect. My name is Patricia, and I am cybersecurity specialist at BNP Paribas Bank. Today, we'll show you why it is important to use technology that brings the results, with zero integration costs, no burden to end user, and in a fast and automated way.
And my name is Antoni Sikora, and I work for Secfense. We had the pleasure to work with BNP Paribas Bank to help them achieve their cybersecurity goals. And today we will show you how. All right, so without further ado, let's move on to the demo. Bartosz, cybersecurity specialist from the bank, will help me with that. Okay, so right now you can see that Bartosz is logging in to the application just as every other bank employee does every day. The application is protected only with a password, which is a huge risk. 81% attacks results from stolen or weak passwords. 63% of successful attacks come from internal sources, and 33% involve social engineering. Now imagine you can completely eradicate this type of attacks by removing passwords, and Bartosz will show you how it's done. Right now, you can see Secfense broker dashboard, and Bartosz is adding the application to the broker. What Bartosz is doing is exactly what the installation process looks like every time. It's super easy, takes only a few minutes, and can be highly automated. Imagine how much time and money you could save by deploying every technology like this. No coding, no need to hire software developers, just few configuration steps, and that's it. All right, now is the time when magic will happen. We call it a learning stage because this is the moment when Secfense broker learns logging patterns. This knowledge will later be used in order to trigger strong authentication mechanisms. You can see that Bartosz will be logging in with a special type of user called init user. The application doesn't recognize this user because it doesn't belong to the database, so there will be an error message. So in the front, it looks like nothing has happened, but pay attention because down there it says Secfense learning mode, which basically means that Secfense broker works in the background and it has already learned the logging pattern. This also means we are ready for the next step. All right. At this point, Secfense broker knows the application. You can now choose if you would like to add some extra authentication method, and if you want to add, for example, TOTP codes, that's possible. But you can also completely remove passwords. In the case of BNP Paribas Bank, they were already using Windows Hello passwordless mechanisms that allow them to log in to the workstation without the password. With Secfense broker, you can leverage that. Imagine, no more password reset calls to help desks, no more post-it cards on monitors, no more passwords. Bartosz is now logging into the same applications that he logged in before. This time, the application is equipped with extra factor. Bartosz can authenticate either with face recognition, fingerprint scan, or with a PIN code. Bartosz will choose face recognition. And you can actually use the same methods too, because they are using open web authentication standard called FIDO2. And we would be happy to explain more about this standard after the show. Now think about it. In less than 2 minutes, you can eliminate phishing-related risks. We could end this demo right now, but since we still have some time, Bartosz will show you one more cool thing. He will log in again to the same application, and this time the application will not require MFA. Why? Because cookies were saved. This is especially useful for employees that are using dozens of applications and are working from trusted machines. Obviously, this can be molded by you. You can add extra protection using a thing called micro-authorizations, which basically adds extra layers of authentication if necessary inside of the application. Or you can use a thing called full-site protection, which creates a distinction between secure, trusted, and untrusted networks. There are tons of possibilities, and it all depends on you and your company preferences. All right, thanks so much, Bartek. There are plenty of good arguments to move away from passwords. According to Gartner, 20 to 50% help desk calls are related to password reset, and each call is around $70 of costs. With Secfense, you can take passwords away from your employees and replace them with stronger, more convenient, and cost-effective alternative.
Introducing MFA whenever possible is really important. But even more important is how it's done. In our case, it was non-invasive way, zero integration costs, and no burden to end user. If there's one thought we could leave you with, it would be it is possible to launch and scale strong authentication in the entire organization, no matter how big and complex the organization is. We would be happy to share with you our experience after the show, so please visit Secfense virtual stand or contact us via the event app. Thank you.